This is our top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis for April 8, 2019. This is Monday. So these are the 10 stocks that I'll be talking about today. We have URC, ICT, X, CNPF, MB, PHEN, PXP, House, ABA, and SOC. Okay? My name is JC De Guzman and I am your technical analyst for today. So let's start with URC. So in this video, you will hear me discuss my technical analysis, overall sentiment, trade setups, and recommendations for the 10 stocks that I've mentioned. So beginning with URC, URC closed today, Monday, at 156 pesos per share. Okay. Support is at 151.3. Historical resistance is near 156.7 or 165.7 rather. Today's green candlestick managed to close above its volume-weighted average price of 155 pesos per share. The green candlestick is also fortunately above the 10-day simple moving average. As far as the alignment of the moving averages is concerned, I can see a perfect bullish formation. Today's volume is also moving bullishly above the 10-day volume average. MACD remains above the signal line, and historical volatility is at 19%, a very low risk level for URC. Meanwhile, the 2019 net foreign investor sentiment on URC is bullish. Okay? I think that supports, that's one of the catalysts why we are seeing URC in an uptrend direction. My overall sentiment on URC is bullish. My recommendation is that you continue to top up if you already have a position on URC, of course. And secondly, if those 4 criteria are present. And what are those 4 criteria? First, it should be a green candlestick. Number 2, the last price should be above the volume weighted average price, VWAP. Number 3, volume should be at least 50% above. It should be at least above 50% of the 10-day volume average. Okay? Number 4, you should only top up if the most traded and most voluminous range is registered closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. Memorize those 4 criteria. Okay? You can also use those 4 criteria when deciding whether it's logical to enter a new position or not. So not just when it comes to topping up. Okay? So there you go for the answer, regardless if you already have URC or you're still thinking if you should trade this stock. Okay? Nonetheless, again, my overall sentiment is bullish on URC. And the VWAP is at 155 pesos a piece. There you go for URC. Let's move on to ICT. ICT closed on Monday at 129.60. That's definitely above its volume weighted average price of 127.40. And this ascent in price came with a volume, although it's not equal to its 10-day volume average, it's definitely 50%, it's above 50% of the 10-day volume average. I think it's roughly about 75% of the 10-day volume average. That's still bullish for me. Now, this ascent in price also managed to print a candlestick above the 10-day simple moving average. So now that the price is above the 10 SMA, now that the alignment of the moving averages are in a perfect bullish position, it's all the more that I am bullish on ICT. Okay, so the 2019 year-to-date net foreign investor sentiment on ICT remains bullish. MACD, although it's below the signal line, it has already shown a formation of the bullish divergence with the signal line. I repeat, it's still below the signal line, but there's already an appearance of a bullish divergence with the signal line. Historical volatility, meanwhile, is at 44%, and that means a low risk level for ICT. My overall sentiment for ICT is bullish. It's more likely for the ascent in price to continue, but I personally prefer to see a bigger volume than this so that it will be more likely for the price to break out above the historical resistance near 130.94. The support is at 121.4. Should it break out above 130.94, the psychological resistance is positioned near 143.4, which is the 61.8% of the Fibonacci extension. That's the golden ratio, 61.8%. Again, it's 143.4. That's the psychological resistance once the price breaks out above the historical resistance near 130.94. My overall sentiment, again, is bullish. My recommendation is that you can top up. If you already have a position on ICT, you can top up. And you can also enter a new position if you don't have it yet, provided those 4 criteria that I have mentioned a while back are all present. They should be present, not just 2 of them, not just 3, but 4 of them. And if you need assistance when it comes to doing a price volume distribution analysis, I suggest that you post inside our private clients forum this one. Okay? Use this one, please. So there you go for ICT. Moving on to Surpass. Surpass closed on Monday at 1.35. It managed to break out a little bit above its immediate resistance, the previous resistance, at 1.31. And that serves as its immediate support now. Nonetheless, if it goes back below 1.31 within any time within this week, then that will make 1.05 as the old support. But for now, immediate support is at 1.31 and the immediate resistance is pegged near 1.8. This green candlestick is also above its VWAP of 1.30. So it's 5 centavo above its VWAP. And this green candlestick came with a strong bullish volume that's about more than 100% above its 10-day volume average. Despite this one-day bullishness of Surpass, it still has a lot of work to do so that it could reverse the perfect bearish alignment of its moving averages. Okay, it's Surpass remains bearish in the long-term scale, meaning it's below the 10-day 200-day moving average. It's still not trending. How did I say so? Because it's still below the 50-day simple moving average. So there's a lot of work to do for Surpass. We can't really keep our hopes too high on a Surpass at this moment. Okay. Now, the foreign investor sentiment for 2019 year-to-date is bearish. They are net foreign sellers for 2019 year-to-date. On the other hand, MACD already crossed above the signal line, and that's a golden cross, a bullish signal, especially now that the price is moving above the 10-day simple moving average. For those of you who also like my 10 SMA and MACD combo, you know that's a confirmed one of the confirmed buying signals for X. Historical volatility, meanwhile, is at 118%, and that means an extremely, let me repeat that, extremely high risk level for Surpass. Okay, newbie traders, FYI on that. My overall sentiment on Surpass is neutral to bullish. Why is there a hesitation? Why neutral to bullish instead of just purely bullish? Because there's a possibility for the price to go back below 1.31 within this week. It has not inched itself far from the previous resistance at 1.31 though. Okay, so that's my reference for the hesitation. Okay, so given that it's neutral to bullish, of course you would like to know, is it okay to hold my position or to just sell? Well, the answer is in your trailing stop loss. If your average price or if the current price is still moving above your trailing stop loss, then you you have the option to hold your position or to top up. How would you know if it's logical to top up on your current position or to enter a new position? Remember those four criteria that I mentioned a while back? If those are present, then you can top up or enter a new position. Okay? Next, we have CNPF. CNPF closed on Monday at 16.10. It's above its VWAP of 15.93. And this green candlestick came with a volume that's maybe above about 40 to 45% above its 10-day volume average. It's been 2 trading days that CNPF has been registering a volume above its 10-day volume average. So support is at 15 pesos. Resistance is at 16.52. The current price is closer to the resistance than to its support at this moment. Net foreign or the foreign investor sentiment for 2019 year to date is it's more or less bearish on CNPF. Meanwhile, MACD has already registered a golden cross, meaning to say it has crossed above the signal line already. So with the 10 SMA moving above with the current price moving above the 10 SMA and with the MACD spotted above the signal line, we already have one confirmed buying signal for CNPF. Historical volatility is at 27%, and that gives CNPF a low risk level. My overall sentiment for CNPF is bullish, but I suggest that you lock in some profits once the price draws closer to the resistance near 16.52. Lock in some profits. It's okay to, or you can also follow your trading stop loss strictly. Would you like to know if you should enter a new position? Those four criteria that I mentioned a while back, if they are present, do a test buy. And when you do a test buy, don't just buy at any price. You know that already, right? You should buy within the range that got the biggest volume and the highest number of trades. Okay, next we have MB. Manila Bulletin closed on Monday at 0.71. VWAP is at 0.71 as well. Support is at 0.53. Resistance is at 0.91. So it's actually, it seems like it's at the midpoint between the support and the resistance. The green candlestick came with a volume that's about 40 to 50% above its 10-day volume average. Don't look for foreign investors transactions on MB because it's not allowed, it's not open to foreign investors. MACD continues to move above the signal line, and historical volatility is at 83%, and that's a high risk level for Manila Bulletin. And to mention, to cite it, the current price is also moving above the 10-day simple moving average. And their alignment, the alignment of the shorter term and the longer term moving averages is in a perfect bullish position or alignment. So my overall sentiment on MB supported by a volume is bullish. My recommendation is that you hold your position or you top up provided those four criteria are present. Okay? Let me repeat, what are those four criteria? Should be a green candlestick. The last price should be above the VWAP. Number 3, volume should be at least above 50% of the 10-day volume average. Number 4, the most traded and most voluminous range should be closer to the intraday high than the intraday low. So you can top up then. When those four criteria are present, you have 4 data-driven reasons to believe that the ascent in price is more likely to continue, to be sustained. Okay? So if only 2 of 4 are present, then it's not your conviction to believe that the ascent in price will continue isn't that high. Okay? Use the same 4 criteria when thinking or planning if you should enter a new position or not. Okay, now let's move on to PHEN, the first stock among the top 5 losers for today. PHEN closed on Monday at 1.59, VWAP is at 1.60, and the descent in price came with a volume that's almost equal to its 10-day volume average. Wow, we have 3 signs that the descent in price is more likely to continue now. Okay, we have 3 signs already. Meanwhile, the alignment of the moving averages is still in a perfect bullish position, although in the short term, for today, the price action for today, I've seen a bearish signal already. MACD remains above the signal line, but what can you expect? One red candlestick for a single day cannot really bend the MACD all the way to crossing below the signal line. So we might need to see maybe 5 more red candlesticks for MACD to register a death cross, meaning a crossover below the signal line. Okay, so nonetheless, RSI already drew closer to its classical overbought signal, and that's almost equal to 1.68. Okay, so it's possible that the PHEN traders treated this resistance near 1.65 to 1.68 as a selling area. That's why the price is now trying to retreat from its previous, from last Friday's closing of 1.64. Historical volatility is at 64% rather. That's a moderate risk level for PHEN. My overall sentiment is bearish on PHEN. My recommendation is that you wait for a pullback near 1.5. It doesn't mean though that you should buy right away just because the price hits 1.5. You need to reevaluate. If those 4 criteria are present once the price hits 1.5, then do a test buy. If they are not present, then you wait some more below 1.5, preferably closer to 1.38. Next, we have PXP. PXP closed on Monday at 8.87, support is at 7.53, resistance is at 9.84. The red candlestick closed below its VWAP of 9.12, and it came with a towering volume bar that's above its 10-day volume average. MACD remains bearish. I've seen quite a few number of bearish signals for a one-day transaction already. Okay, RSI is already below its classical oversold territory, but it seems that it does not respect that classical oversold territory yet. It seems that it's trying to find its psychological bottom, and it's hard to guess from now where that psychological bottom really is. It could be at 8 pesos or all the way to 7.5. All we have to do for now is to continue monitoring on the price level. Historical volatility is at 122%. It's an extremely high risk level for PXP. My overall sentiment is bearish on PXP. And my recommendation is that be on a sideways mode, not sideways, be on the sidelines rather, be on a wait and see mode, and reevaluate every time PXP registers a lower closing price. If those 4 criteria are present, then we don't have to wait until PXP hits 7.5. As soon as those 4 criteria are present, then we can do a test buy, even if the price is just at 8 pesos per share. Again, as soon as those 4 criteria are present or spotted, do a test buy. For now, stay on the sidelines, be on wait and see mode. I'm bearish on PXP. Next, we have House. House closed on Monday at 13.06. It closed below its VWAP of 13.18. Volume is not equal, but definitely above the 50% of the 10-day volume average. That's still a sizable volume for me, relatively speaking. And today, House closed below its 10-day simple moving average. Okay, MACD remains traversing, moving below its signal line. I don't see any, let's see, I don't see any, oh yeah, it's not a bullish divergence formation with the signal line. In fact, I'm seeing a bearish divergence from the signal line, okay? And historical volatility is at 38%. It's a low risk level for a house. Based on the price action in the past, I can see here that traders translated the resistance at 13.6 as a selling zone. I think they need to wait for, they want to see a pullback on the price, perhaps near 12.5 for them to reconsider buying house again. But until then, all we have to do for now is to be on a wait and see mode as well, just like what my advice is for PXP. Wait near 12.5. Volume is relatively high. The price closed below the VWAP. Those two are more than enough for me to say that the bearish price action is more likely to continue. Now next in the list we have ABA. ABA closed on Monday at 0.54. Support is at 0.51. Resistance is at 0.61. The red candlestick closed, it's not below, it's actually equal to its VWAP of 0.54. And it came with a volume that's above its 10-day volume average. That's a bearish signal, and MACD continues to move below the signal line as well. Historical volatility is at 59%. That's a moderate risk level for ABA. My overall sentiment remains bearish because the red candlestick came with a strong volume in favor of the bears. So it's more likely for me, it's more likely for the price, for the descent in price to continue. So my suggestion is that you wait near 0.5. If those four criteria are still not all present once the price hits 0.5, my suggestion is that you wait some more below 0.5 perhaps, or preferably or ideally speaking, near 0.41 or 0.40. I'm bearish on ABA. Last in the list, we have SOC. SOC closed on Monday at 0.97. Support is at 0.9. Resistance is at 1.19. Today's closing price of 0.97 is two fluctuations below its VWAP of 0.99. We can say it's 1 peso per share as well. So that's about 3 fluctuations below VWAP. And today's red candlestick came with a, well, there's not much interest to join the selling rally today because there's a measly amount of volume that's below the 50% of the 10-day volume average. So my conviction to say that the descent in price is not really more likely to continue because of this lack of appetite to really sell SOC in a massive way. Meanwhile, MACD remains in a bearish position. Historical volatility is still gives SOC an extremely high risk level. So my overall sentiment on SOC remains bearish. That's my overall sentiment, and my recommendation is that you wait near 0.9. As soon as those four criteria are spotted, once the price touches 0.9, then you do a test buy. Otherwise, wait some more. Near 0.73. So there you go for my technical analysis, overall sentiment, and trade setups or recommendations for the 10 stocks that I've talked about today. And this is for April 8, 2019, Monday. And I'd like to invite you on my workshop, a 4-hour workshop in Makati City on May 4, 2019, Saturday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Details are found on the seminars page on our website. Go to equalist.com, click on seminars, and then click on Manila Stock Market Seminar Batch 1. I can only accommodate up to 30 people, so because I'd like to accommodate everyone's questions. We only have 4 slots. Okay, if I were you, I would buy my ticket now so that I could I could train you on how to identify tradable stocks out of the nearly 300 stocks in the PSE. This is basically creating a watch list. How to identify a confirmed buying signal using not more than 3 indicators. How to know if it's logical to top up or enter a new position. You will see what I'm really checking in action. how to identify your buying or selling position, how to preserve your capital, protect your gains, and prevent unbearable losses. This is more than just using a trailing stop loss. You will see all those things for 4 hours. So we'll be discussing those. I suggest you bring your own laptop, and we will do some charting as well as assignments, sit work within that 4-hour workshop. Again, there are only 4 slots remaining. Buy your tickets now, and I will see you on May 4, 2019, Saturday in Makati City, and the venue is also stated here. It's at Bacolod Chicken in Asal, 140 Jupiter Street, corner Orbit Street, Bel Air, Makati City. Again, my name is JC De Guzman, your analyst at Equilist Analytics Incorporated. Have a disciplined, a data-driven, and a profitable trading day ahead on Tuesday. Bye for now.